Ag PhD full episodes and more are now available on Acres TV, the newest ag platform connecting you to fields of information. Look for us on watchacrestv.com. After farmers harvest a crop, there's still crop residue, meaning leaves, stalks, stems, still out in the field. We're going to talk about the breakdown of that residue and the release of whatever's in the residue in today's Farm Basics.
All right, so there are a lot of farmers out there who refer to that residue in the field as trash. I don't look at it as trash at all, and the reason why is because inside all that residue, it contains a lot of valuable nutrients for future crops. So one of the things that we try to do on our farm is break that residue down fairly quickly so those nutrients come available soon. Now, the opposite could also occur. That residue could just sit there for a long time, and eventually, maybe 2 or 3 years from now, the residue breaks down and releases nutrients. So farmers can manage things a lot differently depending on if they want fast or slow release of the nutrients.
All right, let's make the argument here for a little slower release. So that plant residue does have a function, and it's protecting the soil. Now, protecting from a couple of things. First of all, when raindrops fall from the sky, you don't really think about, man, how fast are those raindrops moving? But when raindrops hit bare soil, they blast things. It's like a bomb dropping, and there's little pieces of soil that splash up. Well, I'd like to protect my soil, and if I've got residue out on the ground, the raindrops are going to hit the residue, and it's just going to slowly filter down into the soil, leaving my soil in place, and that leads to less soil erosion from rain. Having residue in place can also protect the soil from wind erosion. So if you're going to have residue out in fields that aren't going to be planted for quite a while, it can be kind of a nice thing.
Well, having all that residue there also helps keep the ground cooler and a little bit more wet. So here again, like on our farm, we've got some river bottom ground. I don't want the soil to be cool and wet. I want it to be hot and a little bit drier. So how we take care of that residue is we use a chopping corn head, for example, in our corn, to chop it up into little pieces. That will allow the bacteria to get into that residue faster and break it down more quickly. We can also do tillage. That will really speed things up to what we always term as farmers, make the ground black, getting rid of a lot of the residue, breaking it down into small pieces. It gets degraded. We release the nutrients. The soil's warmer and drier. So there are advantages and disadvantages to this tillage and making that ground warmer and drier. But that's one of the things we like to do on some of our acres.
Yeah, that residue is really important for feeding all those microbes that are in the soil and feeding all the little critters that are crawling around, worms and things in the soil. So that's good. So we like having that residue out there, but again, it is going to serve a purpose for us moving forward with future crops.
Well, whether you leave that residue sitting out in the field, it breaks down very slowly over a long period of time, or yes, speed things up with tillage or using some biological products to help break the residue down faster. Either way, you're probably still going to have weeds out in your field, like our Weed of the Week. Can you identify this week's weed?